was going to write it down and then I didn't, so why don't I do that really quickly? Wow, she holds it. She held it. I thought he was doing the tempo thing. see if Gabe's singing.
Someone sitting right there is going to be like a whole turns right there. Sure.
I expect to see Gabe's mouth moving.
Absolutely. We're not going to be too loud.
We're going to be a little too loud. There are enough people.
Right?
Enough people absorbing.
Exactly. We need more substance.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, man. We're good. We're good.
I must have dreamed 1,000 dreams, been haunted by a million screams, but I can hear the marching feet. They're moving into the street. Now, did you read the news today? They say the danger's gone away, but I can see the fire still lights. They're burning into the night. There's too many men, too many people making too many problems, and not much love to go around. Can't you see this is the land of confusion? This is the world we live in, and these are the hands we're given. Use them and let's start trying to make this a place worth living in. Oh, Superman, where are you now? When everything's gone wrong somehow, the men of steel, the men of power, are losing control by the hour. This is the time, this is the place where we look for the future, but there's not much left to go around. Tell me why this is the land of confusion. This is the world we live in, and these are the hands we're given. Use them and let's start trying to make it a place worth living in. I remember long ago when the sun was shining and all the stars were bright all through the night, and the sound of your laughter as I held you tight so long ago. I won't be coming home tonight. My generation will put it right. We're not just making promises that we know we'll never keep. Too many men, there's too many people making too many problems, and not much left to go around. Can't you
morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Rochester, where our mission is, through spiritual connection and community, we listen deeply to others and ourselves, we are open to wonder and transformation, and we serve together with love and humility. I'm Reverend AJ. I use he and him pronouns, and right now I am the only minister that serves this congregation. But I remember this time. Still in an assistant capacity, to be clear. But I do have an update from the interim minister search team, which is that we do have the team does have a candidate. We haven't signed the contract quite yet, so we can't announce who it is, but we should be able to do that soon, whatever that may mean. But we're excited. I want to. As you've already given a big hand to Orange Sky, thank you for being part of our worship service this morning. Also part of worship today is Amanda, our Director of Religious Education. Nicole and Gabrielle will offer reflections from General Assembly, that national business meeting and annual gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Association. So our fellows in faith from across the country gathering to participate in our democracy and also our participation as Unitarian Universalists in the even larger national scale of justice work that we will be hearing about today as we navigate what it means to be Unitarian Universalists using our voice in this land of confusion. But if you are, and of course, shout out to our AV team for keeping us all connected and always working on the sound as we are going, and all of you for being the community, for being part of worship. It would not be worship without all of you. And if you are new or new-ish here, please stop by our welcome desk so that we can help you connect. And if you're here today because you are going through a hard time, or you're worried about somebody else who's going through a hard time, please reach out. We have a lay pastoral care team of trained and trusted volunteers who can help and be that listening ear or that extra shoulder to lean on. And I see Susie is there in the back with a beige and rainbow stole. I may need new prescription glasses because, Emily, I cannot see the note you are trying to send me. Yes, there is overflow seating in the chapel. So anyone coming in or our ushers, if you can let folks know. I still see some seats up here in the front, so don't be too shy. But there is additional seating in the chapel. A quick renovation update. We do have some asbestos abatement work that's going to be going on around the preschool classrooms and in the basement boiler room. So that preschool wing will be closed for most of the summer. And this abatement is being done in preparation for major plumbing repairs to fix leaking pipes under the floors. And while we're at it, we're doing some of the prep work for the future bathroom remodel as part of the big capital campaign renovation project. So things are already getting underway here for our big renovation. Applause for that, yes. Thanks to our renovation team and our staff for working so hard to get all these gears in motion. Next week, very important announcement, pay attention. Our worship service will still be at 10:30 a.m., but it will be downtown at First Universalist because we are doing our summer joint worship service with not only the First Universalist Church downtown, but also the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua. All three congregations are gathering for a very special Pride worship service, as next weekend is Rochester Pride. And we have a very special guest worship leader, Reverend Vertus LeVar Robinson. And so, as we settle into this time and place made sacred by our presence and our intentions and our attention to one another, I invite you to settle your body in the way that works best for you, perhaps with a nice breath. We acknowledge with respect the Seneca Nation, keepers of the Western Door and part of the Haudenosaunee people on whose ancestral and contemporary lands First Unitarian now stands. And wherever you may be online, I invite you to light a chalice. And here in the sanctuary, I invite up Sarah and Jamie and Jesse to light our chalice. But they can't do it alone. They're going to need your help. So please join in the unison words to light our chalice. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift.
join us in singing as we play Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down.
Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I'll stand my ground. Won't be turned around. And I keep this world from dragging me down. Well, I'm stand my ground, and I won't back down. I won't back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. I won't back down. I stand my ground, and I won't back down. Well, I know what's right. I got just one life in a world that keeps on pushing me around. Gonna stand my ground, and I won't back down. I won't back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. I won't back down. Stand my ground, and I won't back down. I won't back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. I won't back down. Won't back down. I won't back down, baby. There ain't no easy way out. I won't back down. Stand my ground, and I won't back down. I won't back down.
You sound beautiful.
Thank you. I'm Grant Koss. I use he, him pronouns. And I've been planning a performance for the Fringe Festival coming up in the next couple of weeks. And it's something that goes back about 3 or 4 years ago. I got together with some friends and colleagues in my backyard, and we just started hanging out kind of as a respite from work, and pulled out guitars and just, fooling around, having snacks and some drinks, and then some more drinks and some more drinks. And we decided, it would be interesting to kind of put just a little bit of a show together for the Fringe Festival. And 3 years ago, we ended up doing it. It's kind of, not ready for prime time type of thing, not like we have here, but we had a lot of fun. And some colleagues got together again this early spring and said, hey, we should do that again. We should do that again. And so we put a proposal together, and we're doing something in September. Except this time around, we thought we should have a clearer theme. We should definitely have a clearer theme in these times. My colleagues from all across, I work at RIT, my colleagues all across the institution, they thought it would be some hopes, some songs about hope and inspiration kind of in the times in which we live. And so the last few weeks we've been getting together and playing and hanging out and trying to find a space in which we can kind of laugh and sing songs and tell stories to one another. and then try and take that and put that before a larger audience. Hopefully that it can kind of do some good for them. So now what I'd like to do is, for a moment of greeting, could we turn to the person sitting next to us and say hello, greet them, and maybe ask them about an interesting song that they've heard recently or one that resonates for them significantly. Thank you.
Hey, Rick. How we doing? My song? I had a new song that I heard. It would, I mean, this goes back a few months now, but when I first heard, it's an Andy Mark song. It's what it is. When I first heard that song, bass bumping in the car, just so lively that it's just immaculate.
I'd like to invite you out of your conversations for now and your attention back up here with me. You got a little extra time to talk this morning because I got into an interesting conversation myself. So, well, now it is the time for all ages, and I'd like to ask the children to come up with me onto the carpet for the time for all ages. Come on up. I see some of you out there. It's great to see you here. It's a little different to gather in the summer, but that makes it kind of special. It's nice to be in a new space with all of you, and really good to be together. So my story today is about a little girl named Zora, and it takes place a long, long time ago in a village in Romania. And Romania is a special place. It's a special country for us here in this room because it's a birthplace of Unitarianism. And this village where the story takes place is in Romania, and it's a Unitarian village. So almost everyone who lives there is Unitarian. And they have an idea to build a new church in their village. And they want to build it on top of a big hill, where the church, they feel, could look down on the village like a parent, a loving parent, looks upon their child. So they work really hard to build the church. Who do you think helps? What kind of people might help build a church? You can shout it out. The whole community helps. Who else? Other people, yeah. And there are so many jobs to do. Yeah. Everybody. And you're right. Everybody helps with this. And there's carpenters, and there's stonemasons, and there's blacksmiths. But more importantly is your point. Everybody helps in some way. And yeah. Do you need a building license? It's an excellent question. This was hundreds of years ago. I'm guessing that they did have to clear it with some people who were in charge of the town. But I think those people were like, yes, build that church. So everybody together built this beautiful, beautiful church on the top of a hill. And when they were done building it, they painted it. And they painted it with flowers, they painted it beautiful colors, and it just looked lovely. And they all stepped back, and they looked at what they'd done, and they felt so pleased and proud. And they also felt hungry. So everybody wandered down the hill home to have their dinner, and it was supper time, and they were going to come back after supper for the first worship service as soon as the sun had set. And there were a couple people that stayed behind, because one of the things they had put up in this new beautiful church was a big, big bell with a long rope that would be rung to call people up to worship. And so a little girl named Zora and her dad stayed behind. They had brought their sandwiches and their supper up with them. And they ate and they talked and they sat in front of the church, and they felt so proud and pleased about their new church and their Unitarian faith. They had a wonderful conversation. And when they were done eating, it was time to ring the bell. So Zora and her dad went into the church, and they were looking around before ringing the bell. And Zora's dad was a blacksmith. And so he had built these beautiful stands out of wrought iron. And you could hang on the stands lamps, because this was a time before electricity. So you could hang lamps on the stands, and they were looking at the wrought iron stands, and then Zora said, "Oh no, Papa, we forgot the lamps." And her papa said, "Don't worry, Zora. The people will bring the light of the church with them when they come for worship." And so she trusted her papa, and she said, "Okay, we'll see how that happens." And then they went and they rang the bell. Bum, 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 bum. And pretty soon, Zora was looking down at the village, and she saw little lights coming up the path. First, just a couple, and then a few more, and then many, many lights walking in a line up the path toward the church. "They're bringing the light," she said. "That's right," said her papa. And so the people arrived with their lanterns, and they hung them on the beautiful lantern stands that Zora's papa had made. They had the light filled the church, and they had a wonderful first worship service. They sang, they held hands, they all felt so moved and so connected. And at the end, can you guess what they did? Each family took the lantern that they had brought down, because it was dark out there and they couldn't see their way home. So they took the lantern and they walked the path home to each of their houses. And when Zora got home, it was time for bed. And her mom tucked her in, and she took the lantern from the worship service, their family's lantern, and hung it on a hook in their home. And she said to Zora, "Someday, when you grow up, we will give this lantern to you. And when you have children, you will give the lantern to them, and you'll make more lanterns and more light and give those to your children. And each time you come up to worship at the church, your children will bring those lanterns, bring their light up to the church, and then bring the light from the community back home with them." And that is how we keep our Unitarian faith alive in our hearts all week long. And Zora thought about that, and she looked at the lamp that was glowing on the wall. She felt warm, she felt the love of her community, she felt safe, and she slowly drifted off to sleep. And when she grew up, she did just that. Her parents gave her the lantern. She made more lanterns for her children. And that way, the love and light of Unitarianism continued to spread in that little village in Romania, where it still is alive today. May this story unfold in your hearts until we are together again. I have one more question. What is it? Yes. So I have a concerned young person that they didn't eat while they were building the church. Don't worry, they took breaks for meals. So we are going to ask you to help sing the children out to their adventures. We're meeting for Summer Village this morning. So thank you for singing us out.
We bless you on your journey through with weltering arms in the wide sky blue, with your joyful jumps and your sad times too. You bless us by being you.
I invite you to a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer. Again, settling into your body, into this space, perhaps with a breath, perhaps with an intention held in your mind's eye. And just join me for a few moments of silence in our sacred gathering. Into our silence, I offer this prayer adapted from the words of Reverend Douglas Taylor, one who was raised in this church. Great mystery which grounds us and surrounds us, that which from all things come and that which to all things return. We gather on the edge of another week, and for some of us, on the edge of our strength. We come buoyed by the events of our week or weighed down by them, or we arrive in some paradoxical mix thereof. We are here in our Sunday assembly of hope and restoration. At times we come weary and worn down, and for some that is how we arrive today. At other times we come with questions, with a longing, some of us with something to offer to our community and to the world. For those who come today shattered, broken, lonely, and lost, let us offer our prayer of resilience. Again, this week we test the tender places in our hearts and in our lives to see what healing may occur. Gratitude is often a source of healing, and so we give thanks to the landscapes of grace in our lives, for music and good companions, for the guidance of great principles and shared values, for the examples of integrity all around us, and for the unfolding possibilities of life never fully known before us. We give thanks for all that lifts us up and for lessons that lead us on. For the times when we are brought low by anxiety or adversity. Show us the hidden wells of love that we can tap into. Help us rise up once more, just once more, and once more again will surely be enough. Remind us that we do not strive in vain, that we are part of a chorus, that resilience is in our bones, that peace will prevail on earth, and that healing and grace come like a soft rain. Spirit of life, be thou an ever-present strength upon our journey, and teach us that in falling down we do rise again. This we ask in the name of all that is holy. May it be so, and may we be the ones to make it so. Amen, and blessed be. We enter now into ritual to bring what is on our hearts and lay it on the altar of community and spirit. Honoring the complexities of life, I invite you to continue holding in your mind's eye whatever grief or growth or gratitude is alive within your spirit this morning. Online, you are invited to share what this may be in the chat, and here in the sanctuary, you are invited forward to one of the 3 altars and choose a stone, perhaps holding it for just a moment and imbuing it with that intention, and then drop it into the vessel of water, that it may be held by the waters of life, by the waters of this community. If you would like an usher to bring a stone to you, please simply raise your hand. May we now share in this ritual of community care and witness to one another's hearts. All that we hold in our hearts for ourselves, for each other, and for the world is held in this community and by the larger love that holds us all, always. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.
I'm a one-way motorway. I'm not that miles away and follows you back home. I'm a street light shining. I'm a white light blinding bright, burning off and on. Oh, it's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. I'm a new day rising. I'm a brand new sky to hang the stars upon tonight. But I'm a little divided. Should I stay or run away and leave it all behind? Oh, it's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again. It's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you give and give again. It's times like these you learn to love again. It's times like these, time and time again.
All that our church is and all that our church does is made possible by the time, talent, and treasure that we give to our shared mission. Members and friends support this congregation financially through recurring giving, and on Sundays we also give through our shared collection. As part of the spiritual practice of generosity, 50 cents of every dollar given now to our offering will go to Rock LGBTQ+ Together Mutual Aid, an organization which helps LGBTQIA Two-Spirit Plus folks in Rochester and Monroe County with basic human needs, including but not limited to food, toiletries, rent, utilities, medications, transportation, and important information about community giveaways, internships, free trainings, and job openings. Using Church Center is the easiest way to give, but if you aren't set up with the app yet, you can also give by texting GIVE and the amount you would like to give to the number on the screen or in the offering baskets that now will be passed. And it's in the spirit of abundance and generosity. The offering will now be given and humbly received.
Through the winter's ice and cold, down Nicollet Avenue, a city of flame fought fire and ice, neath an occupier's boots. King Trump's private army from the DHS, guns belted to their coats, came to Minneapolis to enforce the law, or so their story goes. Spent rubber bullets in the dawn's early light. Citizens stood for justice, their voices ringing through the night. There were bloody footprints where mercy should have stood, and two dead left to die on snow-filled streets. Alex Petty and Renee. On Minneapolis, I hear your voice singing through the bloody mist. We'll take our stand for this land and the stranger in our midst. Here in our home, they killed and roamed in the winter of 26. We'll remember the names of those who died in the streets of Minneapolis. Trump's federal thugs beat upon his face and his chest. Then we heard the gunshots. Alex Petty lay in the snow dead. Their claim was self-defense, sir. Just don't believe your eyes. It's our blood and bones and these whistles and phones against Miller and Knowles' dirty lies. On Minneapolis, I hear your voice crying through the bloody mist. We'll remember the names of those who died on the streets of Minneapolis. Now they say they're here to uphold the law, but they trample on our rights. If your skin is black or brown, my friends, you can be questioned or deported on sight. And in our chains, ice out now, our city's heart and soul persists through the broken glass and bloody tears on the streets of Minneapolis. On Minneapolis, I hear your voice singing through the bloody mist. Here in our home, they killed and roamed in the winter of 26. We'll take our stand for this land and the stranger in our midst. I will remember the names of those who died on the streets of Minneapolis. I will remember the names of those who died on the streets of Minneapolis.
There we go. Hi, I'm Nicole Almond. I use she, her pronouns. And I come today with a confession. I am a conference geek. Give me the energy of any conference that includes education and networking, and I soar for days after. Now, as Reverend AJ led on, General Assembly is the Unitarian Universalist Association's annual business meeting and programming. For those unfamiliar with the structure of the Unitarian Universalist faith, we are a bottom-up association. The UUA provides overarching business guidance, ministerial support, and congregational support. They also serve as a national face to our movement. The UUA is empowered and directed in much of its work by the congregations who are members of the association. And that direction comes through congregational delegates. I have represented First Unitarian Church of Rochester as a delegate to GA for the past 4 years. This past year, a number of congregation members came together to execute a new model for GA. We served as a satellite site for the UUA, and we had participants attend from as far away as Boston, Massachusetts, Reston, Virginia, and Palo Alto, California. Each year during GA, there is at least one worship service for each day of programming. Additionally, there are 2 special services. The Service of the Living Tradition centers on UU ministry, celebrating milestones of ministerial formation, retirement, and those who have passed on. The Synergy Bridging Service is like our own congregation's bridging service for graduating high school seniors, but on the national UU stage. It often features young adults welcoming their new peers, and our congregation was represented in this service by Renaissance, Rain, who wrote and led the chalice extinguishing. This year also included a Juneteenth worship service led by Reverend Virtus. The Ware Lecture typically draws a big name, typically non-UU speaker, to address the UU gathering with timely and timeless words. This year's speaker was Bishop Mariann Edgar Budde of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington. Bishop Budde spoke on courage, justice, and faith in this year's lecture. This year's national educational discussion offerings included topics on justice in the face of adversity, aspects of ministerial and religious education, and liberation movements like immigration and fat liberation. Jan Gartner ran a session on faithful sustaining of congregational staff. Renaissance and Massey, a ministerial aspirant from our congregation who attends Harvard, co-led a session on trans justice and activism. We also facilitated a nationally available discussion on youth, emerging adult, and young adult identity, identification, and belonging in UU congregations. Now for the business portion. Statements and resolutions authored by UU congregations and GA delegates express sentiments through brief advisory proposals. This year's proposals centered on immigrant justice and relationally grounded organizing, recognizing and including the Southwest Asia and North Africa, or SWANA, crisis in our studies, and the involvement of youth in UU congregations and cultivating their leadership. It was reported that there were 6 youth attendees this year. This is a disappointing, almost distressing number of high school students who participated when one thinks about the future of the Unitarian Universalist faith and movement. Statements that center on national and/or global crises and that call for action from individual congregations, as well as empower the UUA to take other actions or make statements throughout the year, focused on opposing rollback on environmental protections, like this federal administration's allowing the building of roads through national parks, and being in solidarity with people in immigrant detention, including those at Delaney Hall in New Jersey, who were on a hunger strike. The immigrant detention solidarity statement was not affirmed. Lest you worry that the delegates were directing the UUA to stop work on immigrant justice, that was not the case at all. The statement proposal called for action outside of Delaney Hall to protest immigrant detention, the treatment of detainees, and the quality of services they receive, and to stand in solidarity with them, especially those on hunger strike. There was much discussion stating both support for and concern with the statement as written. It was reported that the local New Jersey interfaith community, including the UU churches, have been organizing ground-level actions on a regular basis and have been building relationships around those efforts. It was also reported that the local UU congregations were not consulted or included in drafting the proposal. The response from the authors was that outside simply meant not inside Delaney Hall. It was intended to mean anywhere else, including nationwide. This whole process is an example of democracy in action in the UUA. Through drafting the original proposal, revising it after a feedback session, discussion during a business session, and sharing additional facts, people's votes were affected. Personally, I went into GA planning to affirm this statement. After reading in chat forums and listening to the speakers, I chose not to affirm it. Our congregation's delegates are empowered to vote our conscience after doing their own due diligence on any item up for vote. This means that although I voted not to affirm the statement, other delegates from our congregation may have voted to affirm it. Additionally, the second statement, the resolution on immigrant justice, was proposed in response to the non-affirming vote. This resolution highlighted the importance of working with other local organizations responding to immigrant justice issues. It is a call to do with instead of doing for. The whole process and the relationship between the non-affirmed statement and the affirmed resolution demonstrate how nimble the General Assembly format can be in voting down one item and bringing forth a different statement to clarify what we do stand for. And that is what democracy looks like. So, for fellow members of Conference Geeks Anonymous, and those who wish to see or participate in a national level democratic process that directly affects your faith community, join our delegation to future GAs. We are looking for youth in high school through elders to represent us. And yes, we're already gathering interest for GA 2027 in San Jose. So see you in California.
Thank you, Nicole. And I now will invite up Gabrielle. Nicole, as she said, has been a delegate for the last 4 years and is becoming a seasoned and experienced leader. And Gabrielle is here to offer a first-timer's perspective on the business of our association.
Gotta get the glasses on. Hello, friends. My name is Gabrielle Garbin. My pronouns are she, her. I was privileged to attend GA General Assembly as a delegate representing First Unitarian Church for the first time this year. Initially, I felt underqualified to make decisions related to the business of GA. I mean, what do I know? This turned out to be one of the most validating and educational aspects of my experience. As a newer member of the church, I understood governance mostly as structural and procedural. At General Assembly, I saw that governance is also a spiritual practice. I got to hear from people who would be most affected by the decisions that I made. I learned to listen carefully, weigh decisions thoughtfully, respect different perspectives, and participate with humility and care. While I was just one voice voting as a delegate was especially powerful. It reminded me that individual voices matter, but also that we're all part of something much larger than ourselves. Casting a vote alongside other delegates from other congregations gave me a sense of connection, responsibility, and belonging. It was a moving experience. It was moving to experience democracy not as an abstract ideal, but as a shared as a practice. I can talk today. I'm a speech therapist. That's kind of funny to me. I don't know. I learned to listen carefully, weigh decisions thoughtfully, respect different perspectives, and participate with humility and care. Oh, I think I just repeated my last sentence. Sorry about that. Casting a vote alongside delegates from other congregations gave me a sense of connection, responsibility, and belonging. It was moving to experience democracy not as an abstract ideal, but as a shared practice shaped by covenant, conscience, and community. While learning about governance was a big part of my experience at GA, it wasn't the only takeaway for me. The business side of GA was also well balanced with spiritually nurturing content, such as Reverend Vertus's music and storytelling in the Juneteenth, A Time to Reflect and Sing celebration, a moving and informative retelling about the life of a 121-year-old enslaved woman named Sarah Gudger, who was interviewed in the 1930s by Marjorie Jones, a worker for the Federal Writers Project, over to the spiritual writing workshop that I took that renewed my passion for reading and writing poetry. Another highlight of General Assembly was the Berry Street essay by Sarah Lawal, Ministry in the Hot Holy Mess, referenced by Reverend A.J. in last week's sermon. With the increasingly punitive legislation against the queer community, the grip of white Christian nationalism in Idaho is being resisted in every possible way in what Reverend Lawal describes as malicious compliance. I love that. I love malicious compliance. In the community. If you haven't watched this lecture, I would recommend watching it on YouTube. I have heard from experienced church members who say that attending GA in person is a rewarding spiritual experience that just can't be replicated online. And though I hope to attend GA in person at some point, I am struck by the strength of the hybrid model of participation. This combination of satellite gatherings and virtual access made General Assembly feel more inclusive and more accessible. It allows people to participate across distance, ability, schedule, and circumstance, while still creating a genuine sense of connection. I now see General Assembly not only as a gathering of congregations, but as a meaningful opportunity to witness Unitarian Universalism in action through worship, learning, dialogue, engaging in the democratic process, and our shared commitment to the future of the association. General Assembly deepened my grasp of my UU identity and strengthened my commitment. I feel more informed, more connected, and more inspired to serve. Thank you.
As Nicole shared through that democratic process, an initial statement that was not actually written in relationship with the on-the-ground organizing in New Jersey was not affirmed, but then a secondary, responsive statement was affirmed, and part of that was the call that has gone out called All Roads to Delaney Hall, beginning with people traveling today, this afternoon, for a day of action tomorrow and more on Tuesday. And so while our call in this moment is to have our eyes on Delaney Hall in New Jersey, the struggle continues nationwide as ICE continues its reign of terror across the country, in Memphis, in Houston, in too many cities. And there is so much happening all the time, and that is part of the strategy of fascism. And part of our strategy is to stay centered, stay aware, and keep our hearts open. And so in addition to the names of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, we will remember the name Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, who was killed on Tuesday by ICE agents in Houston. As Nicole shared, in late May, around 300 detainees at Delaney facility launched a hunger strike to draw attention to the squalid conditions inside the 1,000-bed immigrant detention center in Newark, New Jersey. Reprisals by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the GEO Group, the private prison company that operates the facility, eventually broke the protest and led to its end on June 19th. The detainees wrote and released a series of letters describing conditions about what was going on during the strike, and so I would like to read to you the last of these that was published and asked to be read in worship services across the country. This letter represents other letters which not only represent the experiences of those at Delaney Hall, but the experiences of thousands of other immigrants in detention centers across the country. This is entitled, "We Demand Freedom," a letter from Delaney Hall, dated 5/31/2026. It was handwritten in Spanish, and I will read it translated into English. Through this letter, we will provide an account of the events that have taken place since the 22nd of May, 2026, when the hunger strike began at the Delaney Hall facility, where people detained have all voluntarily stopped working and assisting with facility operations. Since the strike began, we have been subjected to reprisals, discrimination, mockery, mistreatment, and threats, mainly from the GEO staff. Here are some of the names we were able to identify, and they are redacted in this letter. Lieutenant L, Supervisor M, F, M, Case Manager, M, Administrator, the Facility Director, and Shift Officers J, in charge of the kitchen. They constantly threaten to deport us, transfer us to punishment units, and move us from one detention center to another. They take photos of us in the dormitories without our consent and tell us that we have no rights here. Through these threats, they are trying to force us to work in all areas of the facility: cleaning, kitchen maintenance, laundry, floor polishing, and are trying to force us to go down for meals by making us sign a list so they can track who goes down and who doesn't, in order to punish those who aren't eating. On May 25th, we were gathered in the common room. The facility's director, FM, and the administrator, M, wanted to speak with the leaders of the hunger strike to identify them. They were upset when we told them there was no leader and that the strike was a collective effort. That's why they took retaliatory action against the young man named Redacted, the person who helped with the translation. That's why the GEO staff tried to take him away in handcuffs, which all of us, seeing the injustice, wanted to prevent by peacefully blocking their path with our hands raised so that they wouldn't take him away. In return, we received from them beatings, pepper spray, and from ICE, a riot squad came up spraying pepper spray throughout the facility, causing many people to be rushed to the hospital, one due to the beatings and the others affected by the gas. To this day, we haven't heard anything about these people. They've restricted our access to tablets, visits, and the common room. They only open it on a limited basis as a form of punishment. As a result of all this, we feel psychologically impacted and are plagued by the fear that they might carry out their threats for no reason at all. Judges, without checking the cases, order expulsions in 2 or 3 hearings, either to the country of origin or to a third country. Also, 95% of bond hearings are denied, claiming that we are at flight risk, even though they don't have actual arguments. Through these rulings, there are people who are here from 3 months to a year and a half. We ask for the bonds to be revised since we are fathers and mothers with no criminal record, and we have contributed to this beautiful country. We deserve to be free and to complete the process at home with our families, given the excessive amounts of time we have spent in this prison. We could be released, even if it means being under supervision, required to report regularly, or wearing an ankle monitor. The conditions in this prison are not fit for human beings over such a long period of time. Medical neglect, water unfit for consumption, food that is past its expiration date and in poor condition, bathrooms that are unusable, and ventilation systems that have never been maintained, and because of this, we are constantly sick. We demand freedom, a fair trial, and for our rights to be respected. Our hearts and our prayers go with all those who are traveling to New Jersey to provide witness to these terrible conditions and to demand justice and to demand the dismantling of these evil detention centers. One going from Rochester is the Reverend Cindy Terlazzo, the minister at the UU Church of Canandaigua. She is traveling there today for the Day of Action. And so sending love and strength through prayer to all those attending and to all those affected by this, all those held in detention. I offer this prayer that was written by the Faith Against Family Detention. This is a prayer against family detention. As many of the detainees with their families are in fact held together in families, which is maybe not family separation, as you may have heard about, but is in fact putting children in these horrible conditions. Spirit of life, God of many names, whose highest name is love, great mystery known only as more. We ask for your help today as we strive to help more see the trauma being inflicted through the detention of families. The pain that is being generated, Spirit, is hard to heal, and the arc of trauma is long. And so we ask that it be stopped as soon as possible, that those who are inflicting this trauma on our neighbors remember their own humanity as we recall them to the truth that all people are blessed creations with worth and dignity who should remain free. Children are suffering behind walls, denied the simple pleasures of childhood. Mothers and fathers are consumed with worry for their own safety and with the ever-present terror of what will happen to their beloved children. Are we a nation which now would inflict this on the least of these, the most innocent? How do we stop this now? We ask because we know that as individuals, we cannot do this alone. Recall us all to our best selves and give us the moral courage to witness against this cruel and lasting punishment. In the name that is of all that is holy and sacred, keep our hearts open for our witness. Each day that passes pushes the day when freedom will be realized closer. Give us faith, Spirit of life. Give us perseverance. May it be so, and may we be the ones to make it so. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.
It's not the waking, it's the rising. It is the grounding of a foot uncompromising. It's not forgoing of the light, it's not the opening of eyes. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It's not the shade, we should be past it. It's the light and it's the obstacle that casts it. It's the heat that drives the light. It's the fire it ignites. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It's not the song, it is the singing. It is the heaven of a human spirit ringing. It is the bringing of the light. It is the bearing of the rhyme. It's not the waking, it's the rising. And I could cry, power, 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 Lord. Nina cried, power. Billy cried, power. Mavis cried, power.
And I could cry, power, power, Lord. Curtis cried, power. Patty cried, power.
Nina cried, power. It's not the war, but what's behind it. Oh, the fear of fellow man is mere assignment. And everything that we're denied by keeping the divide. It's not the waking, it's the rising. And I could cry, power, 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 Lord. Nina cried, power. Lennon cried, power. James Brown cried, power.
And I could cry, power, power. Billy cried, power. Joni cried, power.
Nina cried, power.
And I could cry, power. Power has been cried by those older than me.
Look into your face, just tell you to out of your chains. If you love being free.
Yeah, Lord, I could cry. Power, power is my love when my love reaches me. James Brown cried power, Seeger cried power, Harmon cried power. Yeah, yeah, power.
I cry power, you cry power, Billy,
Power, 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 Nina cried power.
We find our power in community, and so I invite you to join us for connection time and for our programs and small groups. We have the Inquirer series for folks who are newer to learn more about our church and our faith movement. Today we have a campus tour and orientation to our building being led. So if you're new and want to learn the building a little bit better, or if you've been around a while and are like, I still don't know where that one room is, join the tour, please. We have This Is What Democracy Looks Like gathering as they do every week right here in Gilbert Hall after the service. The 20s and 30s group is gathering. The drum circle will be outside. Good Grief is gathering down in the Susan B. Anthony Lounge, or perhaps outside if the weather is, the heat is cooperating. And children can be, if you have got your children in the RE Summer Village, they can be picked up in the basement at 11:45, which I believe we are right on time for. And as remember, next week we will be worshiping where? First Universalist. Excellent. 10:30. See you there. I'll invite Grant to come forward to extinguish our chalice as I invite you all into the unison words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Beloveds, may you go forth from this gathering of our lights, this gathering of our power, out into the land of confusion, out into the world that is bruised and bleeding and needs your love. I love you. Now go love the world. Amen. Go in peace. May it be so.
I could cry power.